Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and you read that right. The Montreal Canadiens are off to the fucking Eastern Conference Finals. I cannot believe that, especially considering watching that entire game that the Canadiens were actually going to pull off that win is unbelievable. It felt like it was going to be a complete script, the exact same script as Game 6. We were just going to get run in the final few minutes, basically the entire second and third period, and it basically was the case, and we did enough to keep them from scoring. Like a lot of things had to go our way. A lot of things went Buffalo's way. I mean, they played another great game in this one. They absolutely deserve props for that and this entire series as a whole. But the Montreal Canadiens got the one bounce that they needed to go their way, and they are off to the Eastern Conference Finals to face off against the Carolina Hurricanes. Before we talk about that looming proposition there, let's talk about this game here. We start off great again, like as I said before, it was an absolute script from what we saw in Game 6 there. We started off very, very hot. We actually didn't concede the first goal in the first 2 minutes for the first time since Game 2. We actually score first, and it's Philippe Deneau who gets his first goal of the postseason here and opens up the goal scoring for the Montreal Canadiens. Kind of a controversial goal a little bit. Maybe there's a kicking motion there, but it's all just great work. It all starts from Josh Anderson. He's going to get this puck in deep and then absolutely just truck his way into the offensive zone, chase after that puck. He beats off, even if it was going to be icing, he'd beat everybody else to the puck anyway. He gets in there, gets the puck first, gets the puck over. Texier is going to find Caden Gooley, who's flying up from the blue line into the crease area or into the top slot area, and he's going to find Philippe Deneau, who is in that slot area right in the crease, and it goes off of his skate and in. He does kind of angle his skate a little bit, but there's no distinct kicking motion. There was no challenge made there, so it's a 1-0 game. Philippe Deneau, and it's a great way to start as well. 4 minutes and 30 seconds in, great way to start, and it's his first goal of the postseason. Caden Gooley, his 6th assist, and Alex Texier gets his 4th assist as well. So yeah, a great way to start this off. And then later on, we get a power play. Very few penalties overall in this game, but we get a nice power play opportunity there. We take full advantage of what was, I believe, a delay of game penalty on Zach Benson. And we take full advantage of that, and Zachary Bolduc absolutely lasers a one-timer in the top of the net there for his 3rd goal of the playoffs. And when I say lasered, I do mean lasered. It was an absolute snipe. Great work on the power play overall. I felt like, we did a nice job there. I think it was our only power play opportunity of the entire game. Whether you want to argue that or not, whatever. But, it was a good power play. We're moving the puck around pretty well. Lane Hudson gets the puck down to Nick Suzuki, who's on kind of the left corner there. And it kind of looks like a blind pass, but I don't think it actually is a blind pass. Suzuki does take a look, and then he makes a nice, almost perfect, backhand pass that finds Zachary Bolduc wide open in the slot, kind of towards the top of the right circle there, and he absolutely wires a one-timer that goes just like back bar and out, in as quick as it out as quick as it goes in. A beautiful shot there, and we're up 2-0. It's Bolduc's 3rd of the postseason. Suzuki gets his 9th assist, and Lane Hudson his 12th assist. He's got almost as many assists as we have games played in this postseason overall. He's been absolutely unbelievable, and he does not slow down there. He's been fantastic. The Canadiens are up to 2-0. And that's pretty much exactly where we were. We had a 2-goal lead, going into the second period, or to the end of the first period. In Game 6, we actually do hold on, and we don't get scored on in that first period at all, which is definitely something we'd love to see. Overall, we like keeping them off the score sheet is good. And I thought that first period was a pretty good period. Overall, I thought it was better than what we did coming into the end of Game 6 there. So I like to see us getting a little bit of a boost going into this one, but that's where things start to turn around. We get into the second period, and we start to play like we're protecting a lead and not like we're, hungry for another goal. And, as I've been saying in previous games, it's just not the way that you need to play. We need to play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit better on both ends of the ice. We played a little bit too much in our own zone. And, a lot of that is credit to Buffalo and the way that they played in this series. They were absolutely dominant on the forecheck. They just kept us hemmed in the zone over and over and over again. It was unbelievable what they were able able to do on that forecheck. I just like there was no way that you were going to be able to stop them. They just kept coming in over and over again. Our defense just wasn't able to handle the constant pressure. And as we got more tired and a little bit more fatigued going into the end of the game there, it just kept getting worse and worse. Like, we barely got out of that second period with it tied. Greenway scores. It was essentially Samuelson, but it goes off of the pants of Greenway to give them 1 goal back there. But yeah, like we barely got out of that second period with our lives. You know, not to mention being up by 1. It's still it was unbelievable the pressure that they were putting on us. We had to really be, just lucky, really, is what it was to not be down or tied or whatever going into the third period. But that is exactly what happens. And as I'm saying, like, there was so much pressure from Buffalo. They were just going over and over and over again. There was just like, even in the last 10 seconds, you thought maybe it'd be over. And then they get another chance and they almost tie the game up right there in the second period. They just kept coming over and over and over again. It was unbelievable. And that's something that we've seen from them in these playoffs. I think we were fortunate to kind of have good leads in previous games to not really have to worry about it too much. But even this one, we had a 2-goal lead and, all of a sudden it's gone, right? It goes down to 2-1 in the second period, and then Rasmus Dahlin gets a really nice shot away in the third period, a little over under 6.5 minutes in. It's Owen Power makes a really nice play over to Dahlin. It's off of a 1 face-off play there. And Dahlin is able to find this one and goes in past the blocker of Dobesh there. Great play, but it's just all a product of the Montreal Canadiens just being hemmed in their zone a little bit too much. They're playing too defensively, too passive, and again, it's all because of Buffalo's pressure and the way that they're able to play. But at the same time, it's like we got to find a way. Like, it's not going to get easier when we play Carolina either. So either way, like there's so much pressure from Buffalo. We're just so lucky in a lot of ways to not be down. Dobesh did a great job in this game, just keeping us level, making some big saves. The Buffalo Sabres almost scored a third one right after that Dahlin goal, but we were fortunate. We got a quick whistle from the referee before the puck kind of squeaked out, but that's the way it goes, right? We hit some posts in this game as well, so it could have gone either way for sure. But yeah, I think a lot of this game, even going into overtime, like the Buffalo Sabres looked like they were in full control in Dobesh, and our defense did whatever they possibly could. We used every single carbohydrate in our body to make this thing happen here. It was just so, like, we put everything on the line, and even that was barely enough to get this win. But going into the rest of the third period, I thought, after Dahlin scored that goal, the Canadiens kind of woke up a little bit, and I think it's frustrating that you have to have the game tied to wake up a little bit. But that's what I feel like happened there. We got a little bit more energy going. We definitely had some chances late into the third period to tie things up or take back the lead there. Didn't quite happen. We hit some posts, all that kind of stuff, and we go to overtime, which is honestly fortunate considering the way that we had played. I think we got outplayed for at least half of this game here in that back half, ever since that first period there. So yeah, like, it's like we're definitely fortunate to go into overtime. Overtime is no different. We spend a ton of time getting hemmed in, a lot of chances. We tend, we have some good chances. I felt like our overtime period was generally pretty good. I thought Buffalo had some great chances they definitely could have scored on, but we also had some good chances, some good looks towards the front of the net. I think we hit another post. I think Josh Anderson hit like the corner bar on a shot at one point in the overtime frame there, but and then it all comes down to a little bit past the halfway point of the overtime frame. There's like a couple icings in a row, and like we get the whistle blown a couple times, and Buffalo is just pressing hard. They keep getting in zone faceoffs, keep having us in. They keep winning the faceoffs, and we finally get a puck to break out our way, and all of a sudden we've got ourselves a 3-on-2 going the other way. Alexander Carrier gets it over to Alex Newhook on the far side. Alex Newhook just kind of rips this thing. Like, he comes in from It's even like above the top left circle there. He kind of just toe drags, release this thing. It goes through the legs of the defenseman. It just finds its way through Luukkonen, and all of a sudden, we're off to the Eastern Conference Final. And I honestly, even now, even after it's been a little bit, I cannot believe that that's what happened there. It's like what an unbelievable effort there in a game where we're getting absolutely pumped over and over again. We're getting dominated in the forecheck everywhere we go. We find a way to use our legs, and of course, it's our fastest guy on the team. It's Alex Newhook, who's also our leading goal scorer on the team right now. He finds a way to just kind of motor into that left side there, take a nice shot on net. It hits the net for Christ's sake, and it goes in past Luukkonen, and that's exactly what we needed. We're gonna need a lucky bounce to go our way to beat Buffalo because they were just dominating us in this one. That's exactly what we get, and I don't think you can chalk it all up to luck. I think Dobesh played a great game. He definitely kept us in this one. I think our players, made some good plays that don't necessarily get recognized. I think in general, Buffalo probably deserved to win this game if you look at it from a whole holistic point of view. But at the same time, you don't always win games that you deserve to win. You actually have to go out and win those games. And the fact of the matter is that the Montreal Canadiens won 4 games and Buffalo Sabres did not. And it's incredible what this team is capable of. There's just even when it looks like they're done, right? There's nothing left in the tank for them. They just can't find a way to win. Can't find a way to win at home for whatever reason. They can't even win a puck battle or make a pass to save their lives. They still find a way to dig deep, and they find a way to get this win in overtime, and it's just unbelievable what they're able to do. And I think we're absolutely going to need more of that luck, more of that tenacity. Like all of that stuff is going to have to be there for the Eastern Conference Finals if we want any chance of winning that series as well. So yeah, like we're going to have to fight. Right, we're gonna have to keep working, but just to wrap up this series here, we absolutely, you look at the stats, 39 shots for the Buffalo Sabres to our 25. They beat us in the face-off circle. We beat them in the power play, but we like it's a tough series, right? It goes back and forth. It's very very tight. A lot of blowout games back and forth, but the scores don't necessarily show you what this series actually was, and it was very very tight hockey in a lot of ways. Very high scoring, but it was going back and forth, right? Like we would get some high scoring opportunities, they would get some high scoring opportunities. It definitely wasn't tight defensively, but it was definitely a close series to the very end, and all respect to any Buffalo Sabres fans watching this video. Just the fact that they were even in this position in the first place, right? 15 years, between playoff appearances, and they get to a game 7 of round 2. We would have been just as happy to go out in the position that the Buffalo Sabres are going out in. Obviously, we're thrilled to be in this position to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Buffalo Sabres should hold their head high. They played a great series, and they definitely absolutely put the Canadiens on the ropes in the last 2 games of this series. It very much could have gone a different way, so absolute respect to them for sure. But yeah, the Buffalo, I think the big key to the game, obviously Dobesh playing out of his mind in pretty much every game this series except for maybe game 6. But the Canadiens are just so tenacious, and I don't know if it's the coaching staff or if it's the leadership group or whatever, but the Canadiens are just never out of a game. They're always finding a way to battle back, and even when they're down, even when things look like there's just no way the Canadiens will even get another shot on goal, they somehow find a way to make this thing happen, and that is exactly what we see in this game 7 here. They're down. It doesn't really look like anything's going their way. I mean, they're not down on the scoreboard, but they may as well be considering the way that they're playing in this one. But we find a way to just dig deep and get that one bounce that we needed, and all of a sudden we're on to round 3 here. So 8 down, 8 to go. We're in a great position. We're halfway there. Feels great. So yeah, obviously you can expect to see another playoff prediction video coming up, a little series preview between the Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes for round 3. But until then, this is all I've got for you guys. This has been an unbelievable ride so far. I never even thought that I mean, obviously I got faith in my guys. I know that they're capable of doing what they can do, but like we easily could have gone out in round 1. Now here we are in round 3. It's unbelievable what this group has been able to do. been awesome to be on this ride with all of you guys watching these videos as well. So I appreciate you all watching these videos. Go Habs, go. I still can't believe we won that game. But yeah, let me know what you thought of that game in the comments. Let me know what you think about, round 3 coming up, the Eastern Conference Finals, the first time since 2014 that we're in the Eastern Conference Finals, because technically 2021 was the Western Conference Final, but whatever. So yeah, we're in a great position. I love this group. I love this team, and I'm very excited to see what they can do against a really, really tough opponent in the Carolina Hurricanes. So, watch out for my series preview video coming in the next couple days before this series starts. But until then, that is all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final versus the Carolina Hurricanes.